Spoiler alert, it works. What's up guys, Andrew here on my channel Gear Inc., where I get to share what I'm passionate about with you. And on my channel, it's PC tech, games, and gear. Today we are talking about Freesync with Nvidia GPUs. It's absolutely crazy that Nvidia has stepped forward to support Freesync, and there are obviously a lot of caveats with this, but if you were redirected here from my other Nvidia GPU with a Freesync monitor where I use VSync as kind of a stopgap between those two things, and you're looking for the workaround using an AMD GPU or the APU, I've linked the Linus Tech Tips video on that actual topic, all the resources in there. It's a great video. I suggest you watch it if that's what you're looking for, because today we're actually talking about the patch that Nvidia dropped that allows their GPUs to now work with Freesync monitors. So just so you guys know, Nvidia has actually classified now 4 different types of G-Sync. So the first one is what they're calling their like super G-Sync, where this is like their big format gaming displays that they have. This is like high-end HDR. They're very top-of-the-line G-Sync monitors. And then the one right below that are their G-Sync regular monitors, just like my 1440p Acer Predator behind me. So these are your gaming monitors, things that have already been out for a while, but these are their official G-Sync monitors below their super G-Sync, let's call it, monitors. And then below that is the G-Sync compatible monitors. That's like my XFA 240, which I'm going to be showing in this video, where they're one of the 12 so far out of the 400 plus they've tested that are actually up to their standards for G-Sync. And then they have their basically other, let's call it, like anything under that is just Freesync usable, but it's not necessarily supported or it's not necessarily up to the standard, so there's no guarantees that it will work essentially. So I'm gonna do some timestamps because this video is gonna be a lot longer than my regular video is, because there's a lot that goes into this, and I wanna address some of the criticisms from my other video. And so if you want something specific, just check those timestamps. I'm gonna try and break it up as much as possible, but let's talk about everything involved with these tests and kind of what's going on. So to address my criticism from the other video that I got, I want to, because here's the thing, I'm responsible for my words, I'm responsible for my content. I want to make sure that what I'm saying is not only accurate and complete, but truthful and honest. And in that video, there's a lot of things about VSync that obviously I got a lot of criticism on because I just didn't talk about it, and that's all totally fair. So to make up for it, I want to go over at least some of those talking points, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. So for you guys who don't know what any of these technologies are, let's start there. So adaptive sync is a technology that came out to solve a very basic problem. When you have a monitor, that monitor has a specific amount of hertz, meaning up to frames you can see on the monitor, and then it has a refresh rate, meaning that every fraction of whatever second, it's essentially refreshing the image on the screen. Now, what happens is your GPU receives information from your CPU, and then once it gets sent and rendered, it gets given to your monitor to display on the screen. Now, the problem arises when your monitor tries to render a frame that the GPU basically hasn't finished yet. And what can happen, if this does happen, is you get what's called screen tearing, and it looks something like this, where the image essentially gets sliced up into kind of like almost overlapping different parts of the same image, and it's very annoying. And so what came out of this technology was adaptive sync. Now that went 2 different paths. On the one hand, you have Freesync. So this is AMD's kind of open source, royalty-free technology that they developed. And then on the other hand, you had Nvidia, who went G-Sync, which is actually a hardware-based solution, even though it literally does the exact same thing. And the difference has always been that if you had a Freesync monitor, you could only use AMD GPUs. And if you had an Nvidia GPU, you could only use G-Sync. They were not cross-compatible, only because Nvidia prevented their GPUs from working. But as I've already stated, there are workarounds, or there have been workarounds before now, to get it to work on a Freesync monitor. So it shows that they were capable, but Nvidia just wasn't having it, because obviously that's more money in their pocket to keep you on their ecosystem. The thing that I talked about in the other video, VSync, is a technology that basically forces your monitor to wait until the frame is rendered before displaying it. It sounds good in theory, but the problem is that, and these are again some of the criticisms that I didn't talk about in the video, is that if the frames drop below the monitor's refresh rate, you can get stuttering, because essentially what's happening is that because the frame isn't ready, the monitor actually skips over it. That's a huge problem. Another thing, and big one, is the input lag. It can greatly increase the amount of lag that you're getting in your system. And then there's also performance penalties that can potentially happen as well in terms of the amount of frames you're actually able to see. Now, usually what happens is it automatically caps your frames in games at 60 FPS to ensure that you're never ever seeing basically unrendered frames. You can uncap this, but again, that can lead to other artifacting and problems potentially with whatever game you're playing if your GPU can't keep up with the monitor. So that's what VSync is, and I'm sorry that I didn't go over those negatives when I talked about the video, but let's talk about today. So I've got two monitors and I try to keep these as apples to apples as I can. They're basically the same size. They're actually the same manufacturer. One is the supported XFA, basically 240 that's on the list. The other one is not. It's just a curved 144 hertz panel. We're going to call it the ED moving forward from here. I'm just going to abbreviate it. And these are both from Acer. Now, in doing these tests, just so you know, there are specific supported GPUs for this new FreeSync G-Sync technology. From here on out, I'm going to refer to it as Nvidia FreeSync. We're going to call it from here in the video. So whenever I say Nvidia FreeSync, I'm just relating to the patch enabling FreeSync. So in terms of the GPUs that are actually supported by this, you have this whole list. Right now, it's only Pascal and Turing. I doubt they're going to go backwards with this because basically it would not be in their best interest because that's money out of their pocket. They want people to upgrade. So anything in the 10 series and anything in the Turing series should work. I just so happen to have both a Turing GPU and a Pascal GPU, so I was able to test both. Now, when we're talking about testing these monitors, I have two different systems that I did it at. I was trying to create variability as much as I could, but obviously the thing that sucks is both my CPUs are Ryzen, so I couldn't test this with an Intel CPU. I don't have every GPU that, you know, in the in the Turing and Pascal, so I couldn't test everything. So the tests are limited, but I think they're a good indicator of what we can expect, generally speaking. So the first monitor we're testing is the XFA 240. This is the supported monitor, and I'm going to show you guys how to see if it's a supported monitor or if it's not, how to enable G-Sync, basically G-Sync FreeSync or Nvidia FreeSync, let's call it, in the Nvidia control panel. So the first thing you want to do is, after you get into the control panel, is go to G-Sync settings. Now this monitor is the XFA 240, so this is the supported monitor. You can see it actually identifies it as a G-Sync monitor, so you really don't have to do anything. It's basically working right outside the bat, so you're good. Now once you have this basically enabled, if again it just auto enables, at least if it's supported, that's what I found, then all you have to do is fire up your games and it should work as normal. I tested 3 games, Overwatch, Black Ops 4, and Fortnite, because these are highly played shooters where you have a lot of different scenes changing all the time, so it creates a lot of graphical variability, which again could lead to tearing. So in doing this test, it's very interesting. The 1060 system I have was the first one that I tested. And all the settings obviously were left at high for this, but what I've noticed is that first off, with the supported monitor, it was seamless, guys. Like, it looked really, really good. I noticed no artifacting, no tearing, nothing that I would indicate that FreeSync was causing any issues anyway, and FreeSync was working. So in all the 3 games that I tested, not only did it work, but it looked really good. I couldn't find any discrepancies. Now, after I did those tests, I moved to the Acer ED. This is the one that isn't currently supported. So this is a FreeSync 144 hertz TN panel, almost exactly the same, except it's curved. And for this one, you actually have to enable it. So if you don't have one of the monitors that's enabled in this lineup, then you still go to the Nvidia control panel, you go to the G-Sync settings, and then there's actually just a simple button after you select the monitor to apply it, and then FreeSync is enabled, but obviously it's not guaranteed to work. Now, the one thing that I wish I had was different monitors of different resolutions, like 1440p and 4K, to see if there's any variability there, because I'm sure there is. But this is the monitor that basically I could get my hands on, so we're doing this both for both these monitors at 1080p. So in doing the test for the 1060 on the unsupported monitor, I was blown away because I couldn't find any problems. There was no artifacting, no screen tearing. It looked perfect. I wasn't expecting it, honestly. I was expecting something, but at least with these 3 games at high settings, nothing. It literally was seamless. So that might be more of a pro for just Acer and their monitor quality over any other factor, but I was expecting something like this. If you watch this video from CES, when they actually took a look at this is what I was expecting, that gritty tearing, because this was an unsupported monitor, but at least with this one, that's not what I had. Moving over to the 2080 Ti in this lineup of tests, I maxed out every graphical setting I possibly could, and going through, you know, and looking at different markers like that. I even had in like Fortnite, the 3D rendering was up to 1440p, which gave me an FPS knock, but essentially I was just trying to create as much burden on the GPU as I could. With the supported monitor, it looked great. All the games looked 100% fine. I could find no faults, no stuttering, no screen tearing, nothing. And then with the unsupported monitor with the 2080 Ti, it was exactly the same. Like, I picked through videos, I played each of these games for like 30 minutes a piece with each card, and I couldn't find any fault in any of these situations. It was pretty miraculous. And so I wasn't expecting these type of results. They both work. It's absolutely fantastic. I endorse both of them. Again, they're both linked down in the description below if you want to buy either of these things. Now, as I stated, this isn't a guarantee by any means that you're going to have the same experience. There are too many other variables that I'm simply not able to test for, like different CPUs, different GPUs, different resolutions on the monitors. And so it's really hard to say that this is like 100% like conclusive evidence that the FreeSync is going to work really well. I doubt it's going to work this well across all monitors. But the point remains that if you have a FreeSync monitor and an Nvidia GPU, you have the option. First time ever, you have the option to enable it and use it on the GPU. And so this is only a good thing, guys. The very fact that we're able to do this opens up a whole realm of possibilities, because now there's more compelling reasons than ever to buy FreeSync monitors if they're discounted, if obviously they work with Nvidia GPUs, because that's, I mean, we're talking $200-300 on average, like from G-Sync to FreeSync. And yes, I know now there's 4 different versions of G-Sync, but quite frankly, as long as it works, I think 99% of us don't care. That's just my opinion. So anyway, guys, I loved making this video for you. Seriously, the whole time I was like jumping up and down. But as always, if you want to support my channel, consider becoming a patron or a Twitch subscriber. I do stream on the weekends. Thank you to people who are on my patrons and Twitch subscribers. Guys, I'm so humbled by your support. Your financial support makes this channel happen. I'm 100% self-funded. And remember that if you do become one of those, I put your name at the end of my videos as a way to say thanks. We have a Discord you can join, and there's a supporter chat, and I like to really get to know and try to communicate with people who support me directly. And so if you want to leave a comment, please do, and I promise that I'll answer you. And then, as always, guys, you can use my affiliate link for buying either of these monitors or just really anything through Amazon or Newegg, and that money goes all back into the channel. I basically don't take a dime of it because I use it to support buying these hardware so I can do these type of reviews. And as always, make sure you get subscribed and hit the bell icon so you know when new videos drop, because YouTube's algorithm continues to suck. As always, guys, I'm gonna make these videos whether you watch them or not, but I hope you do, and I hope to see every single one of you next time here on Geared Inc. This is just nuts. It's just nuts. Yeah, like, it's so crazy that Nvidia did this. Like, Jensen's scared of Intel. I was expecting something. Nothing. Double thumbs up.